Barry called me last week, exhausted. His mother with FTD had another public outburst, this time at the bank when she tried to withdraw money that wasn't hers. Every dementia strategy he tried made things worse. If you're caring for someone with FTD, you know that a lot of what you read about dementia care doesn't apply. You're watching your loved one's personality disappear while feeling like a complete failure. Today, I'm sharing 5 strategies that actually work for FTD families. The real tactics that helped Barry's family cope. Stay with me because the most important strategy has nothing to do with managing your loved one's behavior. The first strategy Barry learned the hard way is what I have learned is called the gray rock approach. When his mother would make accusations or demands, Barry's natural instinct was to argue, explain, or defend himself. But every emotional response made her more agitated. Here's what Barry discovered. When someone with FTD is escalating, becoming emotionally neutral and boring often works better than any explanation. Think of yourself as a gray rock, present but uninteresting. Instead of saying, "Mom, that's not true, you're being unreasonable," Barry learned to say, okay, and then redirect. When she accused him of stealing her money, instead of defending himself, he'd say, "That sounds frustrating," and suggest making tea. The key is removing your emotional energy from the situation. FTD brains often feed off emotional reactions, both positive and negative. When you become neutral, the behavior often de-escalates naturally. This doesn't mean being cold or uncaring. It means recognizing that reasoning with damaged brain circuits is like trying to negotiate with a broken fire alarm. You don't argue with the alarm. You address what's causing it to go off. Barry told me this single change reduced daily conflicts by at least half. The arguments that used to last hours now fade within minutes. Strategy 2 transformed Barry's entire approach. Instead of constantly saying no to dangerous requests, create safe alternatives that feel like yes. Barry's mother wanted to drive, cook elaborate meals, and manage her own finances, all potentially dangerous with FTD. But saying no to everything created constant battles and made her feel powerless. Here's what Barry did instead. For driving, he got her a driving video game that felt real. For cooking, he set up simple tasks she could do safely, washing vegetables, stirring soup, setting the table. For finances, he gave her play money to organize and old catalogs to shop with. The magic is in the word yes. Instead of "no, you can't drive," it became "yes, let's practice your driving skills on this simulator." Instead of "no cooking," it became "yes, I need help making dinner. Can you wash these vegetables?" This isn't about deception. It's about finding ways for them to feel useful and engaged without compromising safety. Their brain may not process logic anymore, but they still crave purpose and control. Before we continue with the remaining strategies, if this practical advice is helping you see new approaches to FTD caregiving, please hit that subscribe button. Your engagement helps other FTD families find this support when they desperately need it. Creating yes environments takes planning, but Barry said it gave him his mother back in small, precious moments. Strategy 3 might be the hardest, protecting your family while caring for someone with FTD. Barry's teenage daughter stopped bringing friends over because Grandma might make inappropriate comments. His wife felt like a stranger in her own home. First, have honest conversations with family members about what's happening. For his children, Barry explained, "Grandma's brain is not well in a way that changes her personality, but she still loves you. The mean things she might say aren't really her talking." For adult friends, Barry had to set boundaries. His mother couldn't be alone with the grandchildren anymore, and family gatherings required supervision. This felt like betrayal initially, but it protected everyone. Extended family was harder. Some relatives insisted Barry was being too strict or that his mother was just being difficult. Barry learned to say, "I understand this is hard to watch, but FTD affects judgment and impulse control. I'm following medical guidance to keep everyone safe." You might need to limit visits from people who don't understand or who upset your loved one. This isn't about cutting people off forever. It's about managing the environment during a crisis. Barry told me the hardest lesson was accepting that some relationships might not survive this journey. Not everyone can handle the reality of FTD, and protecting your immediate family has to come first. The goal isn't to make everyone comfortable. It's to create a safe space where your family can function while still providing care. Strategy 4 addresses every FTD caregiver's nightmare: managing behaviors in public. After his mother's bank incident, Barry developed what he calls his survival kit for necessary outings. Pre-planning is everything. Barry scouts locations during off-peak hours, identifies quiet spaces and quick exits, and always has a backup plan. He carries a card explaining, "My family member has frontotemporal dementia, which affects behavior and judgment, to hand to store managers or concerned strangers." For common situations, Barry developed scripts. When his mother makes inappropriate comments, he says, "She has a medical condition that affects her judgment," and immediately creates distance. He doesn't apologize for her behavior. He explains it briefly and moves on. Barry also learned to choose his battles. Grocery shopping happens online now. Doctor appointments are scheduled for the first slot of the day when his mother is calmest. Social events are limited to small gatherings with people who understand the situation. The hardest part was accepting that some activities are no longer possible. Barry grieved the loss of spontaneous outings and family traditions. But he found new ways to connect: quiet walks in familiar neighborhoods, car rides with music, or simple activities at home. His advice: start small and build confidence. A successful trip to the pharmacy can feel like climbing Mount Everest when you're managing FTD behaviors. Celebrate every small victory. Here's the strategy I promised would surprise you. The most important one has nothing to do with managing your loved one's behavior. It's about recognizing when you are reaching your breaking point. Barry told me about the morning he found himself yelling at his mother for the 100th time about something she couldn't control. He realized he was becoming someone he didn't recognize. That's when he learned that caregiver burnout in FTD happens differently than other dementias. FTD caregiving is relentless because you're managing shocking, unpredictable behaviors around the clock. You can't reason with the person, you can't predict what will set them off, and you're often doing this without support from people who understand. Barry's early warning signs were physical exhaustion, constant irritability, and feeling emotionally numb toward his mother. He stopped taking care of himself and isolated from friends who wouldn't understand. Here's what saved him: he gave himself permission to need help. FTD progression often makes home care unsafe, and choosing professional support isn't failure. It's recognition that some situations require specialized intervention. Barry arranged respite care 3 mornings a week, joined an online FTD caregiver support group, and most importantly, accepted that he couldn't do this alone. When his mother's behaviors became dangerous, he chose a specialized memory care facility. The guilt was crushing initially, but Barry realized that sacrificing his mental health, his marriage, and his relationship with his daughter wouldn't honor his mother's memory. She raised him to make smart decisions, and this was one. Your loved one needs you to be healthy and functional. Burning yourself out helps no one and often leads to situations where everyone suffers. These 5 strategies won't make FTD caregiving easy. Nothing can. But they can help you feel less helpless and more prepared for the challenges ahead. Barry's journey continues, and some days are still incredibly difficult. But these approaches gave his family stability during chaos. I've put together additional FTD caregiving resources in the description below, including support group links and practical checklists you can use immediately. Which strategy resonates most with your situation right now? Are you struggling with public situations, family dynamics, or caregiver burnout? Share your experience in the comments. Your story helps other FTD families feel less alone. If this video helped you develop new approaches to FTD caregiving, please subscribe for more practical strategies from someone who understands this journey. Remember, asking for help isn't giving up. It's ensuring you can continue providing the best possible care. For more caregiving support strategies, watch this video next. And if you missed my previous video on recognizing FTD signs, check that out here. I'll see you in the next one. You're doing better than you think, and you're not alone in this challenging journey.